here with Elite Weather Forecasting. This is your first alert weather forecast as we talk about the days ahead and what to expect as far as stormy weather is concerned. And I'm going to take a look at the GFS. We're going to look at the storms that could be out there. We're also going to take a look at the severe weather potential over the next couple of days, but we'll look at it maybe about a week or two ahead on the GFS and look at other storms that could be affecting different parts of the country or the entire country, as we've had a very exciting last couple of days. We're dealing with the storm still at this time that's producing heavy snow in the northern plains over North Dakota and Montana and parts of Minnesota. We've seen as much as 40 inches in some parts of North Dakota, and it is still falling out there. We saw tornadoes in Minnesota last night, as well as in Iowa. We saw tornadoes down in Arkansas and East Texas, as well as Louisiana and Mississippi. We've been seeing those tornadoes. We're going to see those tornadoes again today for your Wednesday. So we're going to see those tornadoes a little bit further east. So tornadoes are possible all the way up into the Chicagoland area and southern Michigan. We can see that severe weather extending all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So New Orleans is under the gun once again. Biloxi, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Tallahassee, Florida, Apalachicola, Pensacola, the Florida Panhandle. Eventually those storms are going to make it to the Atlanta area. You guys are going to be dealing with that storm, Nashville. So this storm is just really impacting everybody's lives here for the next couple of days. It's not going to be until about Friday that we finally rid ourselves of this stupid thing. So, but anyway, let's jump into the maps and let the GFS take us on a wild ride through the world of meteorology here today, okay? Oh, before we do that, why don't you guys do me a favor, because I really appreciate the way the channel has suddenly grown. We kind of stuttered and petered along here, and the last week a miracle has kind of happened. I guess the YouTube gods have decided to shine their light on me, and I'm getting just a little bit of traction. Picked up a few subscribers. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. My name is Dooley the Doe. I am a student of meteorology at Mississippi State University, and I'm doing this channel to kind of hone in on my skills here and fine tune my practice and kind of get practice with sharing this information with the public, since I'm gonna probably end up working with the National Weather Service one day, or maybe a local television station somewhere. So that's kind of my plans for now. I'm working on my Bachelor of Science degree in meteorology, and then I have plans to continue at Mississippi State to get a master's degree in meteorology, applied meteorology, and a master's in geoscience and environmental sciences. So, and then eventually I will come turn my educational attentions to schools locally here in Minnesota where I live, because I am in a distance program. But the university has a PhD program in land and atmospheric science. So that's my educational plans as far as that's concerned. So, and a little bit about me. I'm from Southern California. I grew up in LA, and I've lived in Florida, I lived in Texas and Arizona for a time, and even Oklahoma for a year or so before moving to Minnesota. I'm married. I've been married for 14 years to my wife Rachel. She's from Illinois. She's actually a special education teacher, which is very special to my heart because I was a child with visual issues. I am legally blind according to the state of California. In the state of California, I'm legally blind, so I do have some disabilities, as far as disabilities in my legs and lymphedema and things like that. So that she teaches special education is special to me because I was in special ed when I was a child. So through grade school and through high school. So I've been living here in Minnesota almost 19 years now. So, and I work in IT. My actual work is IT. I work in desktop administration or Windows administration. So I'm the guy that set up your computer when you start at a new job, or so I'm the guy that installs the software and helps you when your computer breaks. I'm the fix-it guy, okay? So that's a little bit about me and my wife, Rachel. Oh, I also have a 17-year-old daughter named Gabby. So her birthday was Tuesday, so happy birthday once again to her. But that was just a little bit about me, so that the new subscribers can kind of know who I am and what the channel is about and what it's for. And I'm here to share weather information, but I'll also cover things related to geology as well and space, because when I get to my PhD program, I'll be doing planetary science. I'll be using my degree for planetary science work and hopefully get to do research and search for exoplanets, which is planets that are around, that are in solar systems other than our own. So other planets, distant stars out there, have planets around them just like our system. And my job hopefully will be to study those planets and look for planets that are similar to Earth that may harbor life. So I would be a fool to think that the Earth is the only planet that has life in this great big universe. So enough of that. Let's jump into that long range weather forecast. I don't want this video to be too long, or else nobody's going to watch it. So, alright, so we're going to talk about the severe weather threat that we have today. This is what we're seeing out there today for Wednesday. Our enhanced threat is right here. So we do have a moderate severe threat right here through the Mississippi Valley. So we have Louisiana and Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, very southern end of Illinois, Indiana. We also have Missouri, southeastern Missouri, that's in this area too, for that moderate threat for severe weather. So a lot of tornadoes is going to be in this area today. Large hail and numerous tornadoes. So numerous severe thunderstorms with tornadoes and large hail with damaging wind. The damaging wind threat is going to be more on these slight risk and maybe the enhanced risk. And then there's a very large area that we're seeing here that extends up into Michigan and Wisconsin that we're seeing that could see that that more of the damaging wind threat. This is when you have the straight line winds coming out of thunderstorms. We also have a marginal threat for severe weather here in the Northeast into Pennsylvania and upstate New York as well. We're going to be seeing those thunderstorms. And the risk exists also for some thunderstorms here in the Intermountain West and the Portland area in Oregon out there. We could see some thunderstorms, but these will not be severe. These are going to be very isolated and scattered in nature, so you're not going to be worrying about severe thunderstorms. And in fact, in this region here, as you move into Colorado and Wyoming and Utah here, it's been very dry in this area. A lot of dryness down at the surface. So any rainfall that fall out of those storms will not reach the ground for the most part, because they're not going to be too big, so it's not going to be really heavy enough to overcome that dryness in the atmosphere. So the threat there is going to be dry lightning. So some of those lightning strikes will hit the ground, and any forests or grasslands that's been very dry and parched lately and experiencing those drought conditions will have to deal with the risk of grass and forest fires. So I anticipate some new fires starting out in this region in the eastern sections of this area where these thunderstorms are expected to form today. So that is going to be a very dangerous situation there. So fires present their own danger separate from what tornadoes and severe weather does. It's severe weather in its own way when you're dealing with a firestorm. So that is a look at what we're going to see today as far as severe weather is concerned and thunderstorm activity across America. Here's a look for your Thursday. Or for your Friday, excuse me. So as we look at Friday here, now that severe threat is starting to diminish as our main energy of the storm is going to be pulling itself way into Canada. There's something interesting about this storm that we're going to talk about too when we get to the GFS. And we're seeing just a small area here in New England that is going to be seeing the slight risk for severe thunderstorm. And that just means that the thunderstorms are going to be a little bit more numerous. The severe storms will be just slightly, maybe to scattered, from isolated to scattered. Where you see this darker green here, that's that marginal risk. This is mostly for pulse thunderstorms and isolated severe storms. So it's not going to be widespread severe thunderstorms, just isolated severe, maybe a couple of tornadoes and some large hail and damaging winds. I think is going to be the bigger threat with all of this activity, because I see the potential with this based on some of the dynamics of this frontal boundary, that this is going to cause a straight line wind event issue with these thunderstorms. See, these are going to be the linear thunderstorms that kind of make a line where you're going to see those bow echoes in that swath of thunderstorms, etc. Scattered thunderstorms scattered around. These are going to be lined up in a row. So that's what we're going to be seeing with that. And as we look at what we're going to see for your Saturday, here's what we're going to see Saturday. We're going to get a weak weather system that's going to come into the southern states here, the southern plains. Is going to initiate another round of some severe weather, but again, marginal severe weather through mainly Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Louisiana. You guys are going to be seeing some marginally severe thunderstorm. And again, the main threat is this. It's going to be hail and damaging winds. But we're not going to rule out a tornado, because the tornadoes have been very active again this year. So that minimal tornado threat, but large hail and damaging winds is going to be something that you're going to have to pay close attention for. So here is the GFS. Now, with the GFS, this is our current situation right now on the ground. So here's that heavy snow, that snowstorm through North Dakota. North Dakota's here, so Minot has been the hot spot for this snow. They got 33 inches of snow right now. So here's Minot, northern Minnesota here, and the upper peninsula of Michigan there. And you're seeing that snow. And one of the things too is that the Great Lakes, like Lake Superior, still has a lot of ice. So the ground, the air above the lake is still below freezing. So any precipitation that goes over the lake is going to come in the form of snow, as it's really cold over the water. So if you are right along the immediate shoreline with Lake Superior, Duluth, Minnesota, Two Harbors, or if you're in Superior, Wisconsin, or Sault Ste. Marie in Michigan, you're going to see snow no matter what, because of the lake. The ice on that lake is making the air right near the lake still remain below freezing. So you're going to see snow in those areas respectively. So we have this heavy snow from our storm here. Our area of low pressure is right there. And you see in the frontal boundary here that's extending into the southern plains in the South Texas here. And we're seeing those thunderstorms lined up along that cold front. And we got a warm front going out here into the northeast. And that warm front has some showers and some thunderstorms as well. But the severe stuff is along this cold front here. But we're going to move this forward, and this is what we're going to see for your Friday. So as we move into Friday, or your Thursday, Thursday, that snow is still going to be hanging on across the northern plains, but it's going to start to pull out of North Dakota and Minnesota. This is going to come to an end, but we're still going to have that severe weather extending from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So we got Louisiana and Mississippi here, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan. You guys are going to be seeing that threat for severe weather, but it will be down to a marginal threat for severe weather for your Thursday. So we'll see a little bit less severe weather on your Thursday, but still will be numerous thunderstorms in that area. All right, so now that we are moving into your Friday, so this is Friday. See our storm. One thing the storm is doing is that the low pressure center is here, and what it's doing is revolving around itself. So as it spins around, it's going backwards. It goes up. See, really strong storms have a tendency to turn to the left because of the Coriolis effect of the Earth. So the air down this way is traveling faster than the air in these latitudes. In the more northern latitudes is moving slower, as the air around the more southern latitudes travel faster. So since it's kind of going like this air is being left behind. So it's kind of making our storm make that curve to the left. So it's kind of been curving to the left as it moves off to the northeast. So it's kind of rolling back on itself. It's kind of going like this. So this is that negative tilt. We'll see showers, and those showers and thunderstorms that we're going to see into the New England states for your Friday. So we're going to see those showers and thunderstorms into New England and Maine as well. But we're going to see that snow move up into Canada. So that's one thing that's interesting about these very powerful storms, especially the storms that move into the more northern latitudes. The storms that move into Canada, the northern end of the United States, New England, the northern plains, and the Great Lakes. Storms that are really strong, that typically pass through there, has that tendency to turn to the left as they take on that negative tilt axis. So we got another system. Now this is what we're going to see for Saturday. This is Saturday. Now there's going to be a little short wave, a little piece of energy down along the Gulf Coast. May spread some showers and thunderstorms across Mississippi, Alabama, and maybe part of Florida. We're going to see the tail end of this, our old storm here that we've been dealing with all week, finally move on out to the northeast. All right? And then a little bit of energy comes onshore onto the west coast. So we're going to see some rain perhaps in the San Francisco Bay Area, maybe Portland, and a little bit of snow in the Cascades again as this little piece of energy comes on shore. Now as we move on into Sunday, this is the 17th. We're looking at the 17th here. Here is that little piece of energy that we saw here that was coming onto the Pacific coast is now going to be in the northern plains. That area of low pressure right there is going to spread some snow across Minnesota. So on Sunday, we're going to see. Now, this looks very intense, but that snow is not going to be that heavy. It will be strong. It will be a good snow, maybe a couple inches here in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, 2 to 5 inches in some, maybe a little bit further to the north. You could get up to 6 inches of snow possibly. But this is not it's going to be as strong as the GFS is painting this. These darker colors indicates heavier snow. Now, it is possible they could be heavier again in North Dakota, but come on, guys, how much can you really take? Enough is enough already, so they can't take any more abuse. But it looks like it's painting for the northern plains again to be dealing with some heavy snow. We'll have to fine-tune the forecast. I'll keep reviewing it and taking a look at it and see if we can clean it up so they can get a better idea of exactly how much snow. Whoa! All right, I'm about to knock over my green sign post here, my green screen pole. Whew, okay, be careful. All right, we don't want no accidents while we're on film, right? And my green screen suddenly disappearing. So anyway, we're going to be dealing with this system here on your Sunday. So let's take a look at Monday, and we got a little bit of activity down here along the Gulf Coast. Once again, Arkansas has had a very rough spring and end of the winter. They've had lots of severe weather down in Arkansas and Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama. They've been hit every couple days with severe weather. It's been a repeated battle zone down there. So I'm sure those folks are getting tired of that. But the good news is I don't think this is going to be that bad, as it's not really dealing with a really strong area of low pressure, and it's just going to be a trough down there that's going to be just a little bubble of unstable air aloft in the atmosphere. It's just going to be enough to trigger some showers and thunderstorms, but I don't think we'll see widespread severe, but isolated severe is certainly possible in this activity there. So let's take a look at the 18th. This is for Monday, right? Monday the 18th. That little weather system moves a little bit further to the east. Going to take that showers and storms to the mid-Atlantic states now, or the mid-south, I guess you call it, Louisiana. Not Louisiana, but the South, North Carolina. This is Cape Hatteras right here in Charlotte. So we call that the mid-south. So that is the mid-south. And we'll see a little bit of snow here across the northern plains and into southern Canada. Possibly we'll still see, be dealing with a little bit of snow. Another storm comes onto the Pacific coast. Going to spread some rain for Seattle and Portland once again. And a little bit of snow again for the Cascade Mountain Range. So we'll continue to see those Pacific storm systems. As when I last looked at the PNA, our telekinetics, it indicated a persistent negative trough. So that negative trough is going to continue to influence those Pacific storms and have them going on to the Pacific Northwest shore. So with that being said, the Pacific Northwest has had a very dry winter, and it is about 40% below their standard precipitation amount. So this is a good opportunity for them to catch up and gain ground on those precipitation deficits in the Pacific Northwest. And California is experiencing its driest season on record. On record. Since we've been keeping record, California, especially LA, San Diego, has had their driest season. LA averages about 14, 15 inches of rain per year. I think this year they've had 2 inches for the season, so very dry conditions as well. Now, I remember growing up in LA and we dealt with drought all the time, but this is extreme drought. So, again, this is that weak weather system that's going to be making its way into southern Canada. One thing with this last couple weeks and the weeks coming ahead is many of these storm systems come out of the Rockies, and they kind of take aim for the Great Lakes area in the northern plains, and they zip up into Canada. They've been racing into Quebec and into New Brunswick and Saskatchewan. They've been hitting up into Canada. They've been kind of making that left turn again, that curvature again, turning up, and they've been going into Canada. So they've kind of been on a persistent track here, which is one of the reasons why the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley and the Northeast isn't seeing the extreme drought conditions that many are out west. A lot of these storms come onto the Pacific West, the West Coast, and they've been kind of disorganized and kind of shallow storms. And many of the storms have been driven up into British Columbia because of the strong ridging that's been taking place out west, like this guy right here. That high pressure ridge has been very consistent across the northern Rockies. So many of the storms that come onto the Pacific Northwest have been deflected and blocked and sent north into Canada, into British Columbia. They've been hitting southern Alaska. Juneau and Anchorage have had a very wet winter because of those storms driving north into Canada. And when they cross over the top of that ridge, they get into Alberta and they drop down into the northern plains and skirt on into the Great Lakes and over into New England. They call those Alberta Clippers. And my wife hates that I say that word a lot. She said, she's heard me say it a lot all winter, Alberta Clipper after Alberta Clipper. She's like, I really hate Alberta Clippers. But anyway, that's kind of what the theme of this weather pattern has been. We've had a few deviations from time to time where we've had an active southern jet stream, but that's not existent right now. And we've had a very strong northern jet. The southern jet, they've been kind of running parallel to each other when they kind of get out here to the East Coast. They haven't been fusing or merging, but they've been kind of a persistent southwest and northeast flow. So the storms get around the trough on the East Coast trough, because of that ridge in the west. And when they get around that trough, they pew out to the northeast, like this storm is doing. And this is going to be for Tuesday. This is Tuesday the 19th. So we have this storm system down here. Now this is a very nor'easter style storm, but it's not going to be deep enough. It's going to be a little bit of wind, but I don't see that northwesterly, that northeasterly wind. Nor'easter is usually a little bit further out to sea, but nevertheless, it's going to probably spread some thunderstorms into New England. So Boston, Providence, Hartford, Connecticut, NYC, maybe see some rumbles of thunder out there with their rainfall. We'll see some snow inland in Massachusetts and Vermont and New Hampshire. Maybe parts of Maine might see a little bit of snow. They've had a snow deficit in New England as well. They've gotten a lot of rainfall, as many of these storms have been more southern tier storms, so they've been a little bit warmer. So Boston hasn't got hit with the snow this winter like they've had some winters past. That La Nina is really just making a mess of our weather patterns across America. Now here we are looking at the 20th. This is Wednesday. Now here's the next guy. We got one other guy that's going to come on shore here in the Pacific Northwest. And then we have this guy moving across the plain states. Now this guy is a 998 millibar low. This is a pretty nice weather system here. It's got a nice cold front that's extending down into Texas. And we're going to see some showers and thunderstorms across the Midwest here in Arkansas once again, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa. Going to see some thunderstorms, but it's not a very deep storm, so how severe these get, we'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't doubt some severe in that right there, but how deep it's get is too early to tell. But there will be something going on right here when we get to the 20th. Now remember, these things can change. So when I do this tomorrow, this forecast can be completely different than what it is today. So we're going to look at the same storm now as it moves off to the northeast. See how it's kind of going into Canada there? The low pressure center just been very consistent with that going into Canada. So one thing you got to remember that when the models don't act right, you just follow the trend. What has the weather been doing when the models spit out something stupid that don't make sense, all right? So here this guy is running off into Canada. We'll see that snow in Canada, but we won't have to worry about it here in the States as we're going to see rainfall. So it may be some rainfall here, maybe some thunderstorms mixed in there, probably some severe weather down in the southern states here for Georgia and Mississippi, Alabama. Perhaps we'll see some severe weather in that area. So now we are talking about the 23rd. Now some days might get skipped on here because if there's nothing interesting happening, I wasn't going to include it if nothing was happening. I want to focus on the storms and let you know when the storms are going to come and where the storms are going to go. Now we have another kind of a big storm here that's going to have a bit of severe weather across the central plains here in Texas, all the way up to Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, up into Minnesota and Wisconsin. Again, we may see some showers and some thunderstorms out of this. They're looking at the long range, well, the medium range forecast the next couple of weeks. When I look at the temperatures, I'm seeing the temperatures a little bit on the cool side here in the northern plains and the Great Lakes. Maybe those 40s. The 50s are going to kind of struggle to take hold. I think we're looking at a good week before we can see the 50s again here in the northern plains in Minnesota and Wisconsin and the Dakotas, because that cold air left by that new fresh snowpack in North Dakota, they got a huge new snowpack. There was no snow on the ground before the storm came. Now they got a 40-inch deep snowpack. So now they got a 3-foot deep snowpack. So that's going to cool the air above the snow, and that's going to come down, get caught up in the flow, and come over Minnesota. So it's going to help keep things cooler and make things more of a struggle to warm up across Minnesota and Wisconsin, as we're directly downwind from North and South Dakota. So that's part of the reason why we're going to struggle to warm things up over the next few days. And then we're going to have reinforcing shots of cold air with some of these weather systems that's going to continue to take aim at the northern plains and the Great Lakes, okay? So here we are now. We have this weather system making its way to the east, and it's going to spread some more snow up into the northern plains and into southern Canada. So Edmonton and Calgary, we're going to see some snow from this system, but maybe some severe weather down here along the Gulf Coast. Here's Houston there, New Orleans. Houston and New Orleans could be in line for some severe weather, or at least some thunderstorms when we get to the 24th, which is Sunday. Next Sunday, the 24th. Not this Sunday, Easter, but the following Sunday. See, this is out 2 weeks now. Now, take this with a grain of sand, okay? This is just a guideline and an outlook of what might happen, what could happen, but this could totally change. I'm going to probably do another one of these tomorrow, and it's going to be different from what it says today. All right? So now that weather system makes its way to the east. This is for Monday the 25th. It's going to still spread some thunderstorms. Now, I don't see much snow with this one, but there is a little piece of snow here across Wisconsin and Minnesota along the St. Croix River in the Mississippi River there. We might see a little bit of snow, but we will have these showers and thunderstorms down here along the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic seaboard in Florida. Here we got Jacksonville, maybe Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, Columbia. You folks might see some severe weather for the 25th. Now we're going to be looking at the 26th here. This is Tuesday the 26th. This guy moves very slowly toward the northeast because there's a trough here. If you look at the upper air patterns, you will see a trough here, a cold air trough here, and the polar vortex swirling. You'll see everything swirling in a counterclockwise flow here because we have that cold air and the storm system pushing off to the east, but it's going to make its turn toward the northeast and shoot out like a rocket to the northeast as it turns the base of that trough that's right about here. It's going to turn that base, and we're going to see this thing to the northeast, and it's going to take on nor'easter characteristics. All right, there it is. Now it's in the mid-Atlantic. This is what we're going to see for the 27th. All right, the pressure right now is about a 989 millibar low, so it's a pretty strong area of low pressure. Going to be some thunderstorms in here in the mid-Atlantic states, and maybe just coming into New England. Going to see some rain showers, but not much snow. There's a little bit of snow in the higher elevations of the Appalachian here through Virginia and West Virginia. We can see maybe in Kentucky a little bit of snowfall in the Appalachian Mountains. And that's going to move on off to the northeast on the 28th. This is Thursday the 28th. This is about 2 weeks out now. Now remember, don't take this too seriously. Now it's just pure entertainment. But anyway, so we're going to see this guy going to spread a little bit of snow through Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine, the inland portions of Maine, in the more higher elevations of Mount Washington there. Might see a little bit of snow, but we'll see rainfall along the coast. And so Portland and Augusta are going to be in the rainfall there in Maine. So that was a look at the long-range weather forecast for the next couple of weeks. Or not really a forecast, more of an outlook, what to expect. The possibilities are endless as to what can happen with that. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. I'm going to keep you on. I'm going to stay on top of the storms. I won't let you get caught out there, okay? I promise to take good care of you. So thanks for watching. I hope this video wasn't too long, and I hope I wasn't boring if you're still watching this video. But remember to hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the subscribers. Help me grow the channel and help me make this a real channel. All right? And leave your likes and your comments, your thoughts and opinions about the weather and what I was talking about here today. Do you think I'm funny? Or could I be funnier? Would you like me to be funny? But anyway, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.